Boys and girls, today our read aloud is Froggy Goes to School by Jonathan London, illustrated by Frank Remquist. Now let's say sing our little song together that we've learned in our class. We say the front of the book, the back of the book, and the spine. Now, if you were here, you could really tell that this is a paperback book. It's not a hardback book, but it's a paperback book. And we know that the author writes the story and the illustrator draws the pictures. So Froggy goes to school. While I'm reading, I want you to see what kind of good connections that you can make as the reader. Froggy goes to school. It was the first day of school. Froggy woke up and looked out the window. The sun was high in the sky. "Oh no, the bus," he cried. "I'll miss the bus." He hopped out of bed and flopped outside. Flop, flop, flop. The school bus was leaving. "Wait, wait," he yelled, and he took a mighty hop. Judah pay close attention. Think Froggy forgot something. The bus hissed to a stop and the door folded open. Froggy flopped up the steps. Flop, flop, flop. But when he reached the top of the bus, everybody laughed and pointed their fingers. What do you think they were laughing at? "Froggy!" yelled his friend Max. "What? Did you forget something?" Froggy looked down. Oops! He was in his underwear. He dashed to the back of the bus and he hid behind Max's umbrella all the way to school. At school, he hopped behind bushes. I can't quite get myself positioned here so you can see me good. Here we go. He tried to hide behind the flagpole. He rolled down the hall like a bowling ball. And in class, he pretended to be a flower pot. "Froggy!" called his teacher. What? But it wasn't his teacher at all. It was his father. Now stop and think. Why would his father be calling him? And look over here in the picture. Is Froggy really at school? He looks like he's in his bed. So what does that tell you as the reader? Maybe it tells you that Froggy wasn't at school yet. He was dreaming. So that silliness never happened. Froggy rubbed his eyes. He had been dreaming. He was still in bed. "Rise and shine, Froggy," said his father. "It's the first day of school." This time Froggy got all dressed. Zip, zoop, zoop. Zip, 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 zap. Then he flopped into the kitchen. Flop, flop, flop. He tried to pour milk on his bowl of flies, but the carton flew out of his hands. "You're just nervous." "About school, Froggy," said his mother. "Everybody is, the first day." "Not me," cried Froggy. And together they leapfrogged all the way to the bus stop. Flop, flop, flop. This time you'll notice he looks like he's ready for school this time, doesn't he? At school, Froggy found his name tag on his table. Ooh, I bet you could make a good personal connection. You did that. He liked his name. It was the first word he knew how to read. That's probably a good connection, too. It was the only word he knew how to read. He read it out loud, louder and louder. "Froggy, Froggy." "Froggy!" cried his teacher, Mrs. Witherspoon. "What?" "Hush, dear. It's time to pay attention." But it was hard to pay attention. He squirmed. He looked out the window at the falling leaves. He felt like a leaf. Falling, 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 plop. He fell out of his chair. Oops. Kindly stay in your seat, dear, said Mrs. Witherspoon. We'll sit on the floor at circle time. Maybe you could make a connection with this part. Have you ever felt really squirmy in your seat and had a hard time paying attention? Sometimes we all do. At circle time, Mrs. Witherspoon said, Now, children, today I'd like you to tell us what you did last summer. Who wants to go first? Froggy shouted, Me, 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 and so did Max. Mrs. Witherspoon went, Clap, 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 and everybody went, Clap, 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 with her. Then they grew very quiet. Now, one at a time, said Mrs. Witherspoon. When Froggy's turn came, he jumped up and said, Last summer I learned how to swim. I sang bubble, bubble, toot, toot, chicken airplane soldier. Those are some funny words, but if you've ever read the story about Froggy learning how to swim, those are some silly words that he uses to help him remember how to breathe and blow bubbles while he's in the water. Everybody jumped up and joined in. Bubble, bubble, toot, toot, chicken airplane soldier. Look who's peeking in the door. I think that's their principal. When, in walked the principal, Mr. Mugwort. Bubble, bubble, toot, toot. Oops, cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Mr. Mugwort glared at him. Does anybody know what that word glared means? Look at my eyes. If somebody's glaring at you, maybe they're not looking at you like they're very happy. Just then he joined in. Bubble, bubble, toot, toot, chicken airplane soldier. Till the bell rang for recess. So he wasn't mad after all, was he? When Froggy flopped off the bus after school, his father said, Froggy, how was your first day of school? Great, said Froggy. I taught the principal how to swim. That's nice, said his mother. But where's your lunchbox? And your baseball cap? Oops, I left them at school. Oh, Froggy, will you ever learn, said his mother. That's why I'm going to school, Mom. And together they leapfrogged. Maybe you've forgotten something at school before by accident. But accidents happen, don't they? All the way home. Flop, flop, flop. The end. Now, I bet you could make a text-to-text connection with this story, and I bet you could make a good personal connection, a text-to-self connection. You came to school the first day of school, and maybe you felt kind of nervous like Froggy. Maybe we did some of the same things. I bet you've read another Froggy story with the same character. Whoop. That would be a good text-to-text connection. Even some of the books that we read in class that first week about the first day of first grade, we read some other books like that. Even our good Pete the Cat story where Pete goes to school for the first day. Those would be good text-to-text connections. They don't have to be the same book or have the same character, but if they're similar in the way that they're written, you could also make a good connection with those. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you in our next lesson.